All right. Are we rolling now? Yeah, I imagine we're probably rolling now. But hello, everyone, and welcome to a random live stream that I just decided I thought I'd do today. And this is just a stream that I decided to do for just random subjects of whatever was on my mind and whatever I thought would be interesting to talk about. And let's see if we can get the readings out of the way. We see no tires, just gas, Buzz TKO, Kettle Run fan, and the ultimate G Money 21 NASCAR dude, and Dave the Race fan. Hello there, everyone. I just thought I'd like to do this little stream just for random discussions of anything that was on your mind, and if there was any questions that any of you wanted to ask me, like on a personal level, to get to know me better and see if there was anything you wanted to talk about from there. I feel like maybe just to kind of set the start for this discussion. When we first talk about the end of the Xfinity Series race at Dover, Josh Berry gets his first win of the year. It was definitely an impressive win, though, although Justin Allgaier was definitely giving him a good run towards the end. I feel like, again, but however, I will contest that if Sam Mayer did not have his issue on pit road with the tire that came off, then I think he would have been in contention to win that race. But again, that it is what it is. Sucks that that's how it is. But as it turns out, Junior Motorsports got 4 of their cars in the top 5. It's just that Ty Gibbs broke that up by finishing 3rd. So they weren't able to finish 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks a lot, Ty Gibbs. And also, I feel like I probably should just go to the main subject. That's probably the one that's probably on a lot of your minds that you want me to talk about. And it's the fact that Chris Buescher is on the pole for the Cup race tomorrow. Now, that's really impressive because that's not only the first pole for RFK Racing this year, but it's also Buescher's first pole overall in his career, which I did not think he was going to qualify on the pole, which is rather surprising. But he's now done it, so we'll just have to wait and see about how things play out in the race and see how he does then. This kind of reminded me of his Richmond run because Sam was a man on a mission right there at the end. Yeah, he was. It's a shame that Hemrick fell back in the race, but it is to be remembered that he's still recovering from an injury after Talladega. Yeah, that wreck he had was a very hard one. But I think, if anything, injuries like that are supposed to remind you that wrecks are still supposed to be bad. I think that's probably the thing you're supposed to take away from that. Also, CMR21 on hello there. Again, will Chase Elliott get his first win tomorrow? It could happen, but I'm not sure if it will. I know that Chase won the Cup playoff race at Dover in 2018, but since then it's kind of been a bit of a mixed bag in results for him. I don't really know how good he will be in this race tomorrow, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But yeah, Chris Buescher, first career pole, with Denny Hamlin starting in 2nd. So I got to admit that Hamlin is still going to keep trying to press on, even after his win at Richmond. I mean, because granted, the results that Hamlin have been pretty up and down for the most part. Like, sometimes he will have sometimes he's going to have a run where it's really good, and then other cases he's going to have a run where it's absolutely terrible. But at least he has a win. Oh, wait a minute. Van Cutterman just posed a question, but it's not been retracted. Oh. Feel like, was that not the right question? What? Okay, here we go. What made you start out doing YouTube? Well, when I first started up my channel, officially, this one in 2014, I just felt like, again, it was just something I felt like I would feel like it was just kind of an outlet for me to sort of express my own personal ideas and put them out there. And I guess, if anything, when I started uploading videos on the regular in 2016, like something must have clicked, and it somehow managed to start putting out videos that managed to make it out, managed to really get a lot of traction going. But since those videos were uploaded, I really haven't been able to capture anything that's come close to that since. I mean, again, I still have to keep trying, but if there's one thing you can take away from this, is that not everyone's content is formulated exactly the same way in order to garner any form of success. Because at the end of the day, all the people saying that you got to do this or you got to do that in order to garner success on the platform, it's not exactly true. Because there's all kinds of different avenues that you can try. It's just a matter of having the dedication to keep trying at it until it finally does become a success. And that's pretty much the case with the work that I'm doing right now. And hello there, Hendrick Fan 24/7. I just now noticed your comment. How long have you been a fan of Chris Buescher, and would you remain a fan if he were to leave Roush and drive for another team? Well, granted, I was definitely interested with Buescher back when he first made his Cup debut in 2016. I definitely was interested in him. And the win he got at Pocono was definitely a bit unforeseen, but at the same time, like, again, he got that win, and so far that still stands as Front Row Motorsports' only non-super speedway win. Well, as of right now. And honestly, again, when Buescher was announced to take over the 17 in 2020, I was really impressed with the fact that this was finally a logical decision, because if I'll be honest, Buescher should have went to Roush in 2016 when he made his debut. They should have kicked Stenhouse from the 17 car back then and put Buescher in the 17, but again, that was then, this is now. And again, I know that it's only gonna be a matter of time before something ends up happening where Buescher finally pulls off a win. It's just a matter of when and how. How did you end up becoming a fan of Matt Kenseth? Well, again, he was the first driver that he was one of the first drivers that I sort of identified with, and I found myself pulling for him because I think maybe it's had something to do with the fact that it was in the number 17 and the fact that, again, I feel like that black and yellow car, the DeWalt car, did seem to stand out to me. And then I just kind of found myself pulling for him because, again, I was very young when I first got into NASCAR. Because this was like all the way back in the year 2000. And again, by that time I was like 2 years old, but I was introduced to the sport pretty much right off the bat. And that's pretty much how everything kind of worked out from there. Favorite Buescher paint scheme? So far, I feel like maybe I'd have to say that it was his Fastenal scheme from last year. The 2020 Fastenal scheme, well, it was not bad, but I feel like it just didn't. I mean, it was like, again, I feel like, again, the one from last year I felt like was actually better. Do you play video games? Well, unfortunately, not right now, I don't. If you do or did, what games do you play and what are your favorites? Well, again, since I haven't really played any of them in a long time, I can't really say that I have any favorites. I feel like that's something I wouldn't really be able to talk about right now. What would be the strangest throwback you have ever seen? Well, isn't it obvious? It had to be Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s quote-unquote throwback from last year, because it's not even really a throwback. It's not even the right scheme. Like, what the hell was that? That's not a throwback. That's just ridiculous. Out of all of his seasons at Roush, which seasons do you think Matt Kenseth performed the best? Well, again, of course, 2003, he won the championship, but that wasn't his most dominant season because he only had one win. I feel like 2000 would definitely be a good running because of that was his rookie season. I think overall, I might say either maybe 2005 and 2006. But I think 2013 was definitely another great year for him, even though, again, that was when he was at Gibbs. So, again, that's the problem. That's really hard for me to say exactly what season was the best. Same could be said with Harvick's throwback this year. Like, I don't think that is a throwback. Like, what even is that? I don't even know that. I don't even understand why they're trying to pass it up as that. It says something when your attempt at a throwback gets outclassed by a one-car team's rendition from like 5 years ago. Favorite Xfinity Series scheme? Ugh. You know, I really don't know if I could say that. I don't really know. I don't really know if I can say what my favorite is. Mostly because, again, I don't really know. Well, again, as in like the old Busch series, well, again, a same thing there. I really don't know if I can say. Because again, I could really start thinking of ideas, but I don't know if I could get anything together. At least Hendrick is trying to make paint schemes that look attractive. Well, least favorite color? Ugh. Ugh. As far as like least favorite colors, I feel like I might have to go with like mint green or something. Like, it just doesn't really seem like it's my kind of color. Ugh. What's your favorite Paul Menard moment? Well, I feel like it would be honest with me to say the 2011 Brickyard 400. his lone Cup Series win. However, I will say this. I really think Paul Menard should have been the one to get the Wood brothers their 100th win, because that way it would have been part of another history-making moment for the sport. But again, it is what it is. Paul Menard is now retired, so again, what can you do? Least favorite driver? Again, I feel like I just have to go with Riley Herbst. Even though, again, I feel like, I don't want to say the word hate because that's just wrong, because that's just not right, but, what are you going to do? Yeah, quote-unquote retired. Favorite NASCAR save? Oh. I feel like maybe something like that spin that Jimmy Johnson had at Dover in like the mid 2000s. Was it around 2006 or so during qualifying where he spun around and around and came to a stop facing the inside wall all on the front stretch? Like, that was really bizarre. But he did it. And will I make another Initial D meme compilation? I've actually been thinking about it. Not going to lie, I actually have been thinking about it. Favorite Truck Series driver? Well, again, it's a bit hard to say, but again, I would say for now it is Ryan Preece. But then again, he's not running full time, so let me think about this. I feel like I would have to go with Zane Smith as far as like a full-time driver. And so far, he already has 2 wins, which is so far the most for any driver with the organization as a whole. Yeah, actually, that is true. Zane Smith has the most wins out of any driver that is driven for Front Row Motorsports, with 2 wins. Hoosier or General Tire? I feel like I might actually go with General Tire. I don't know why. That's just me. I already have some. Let's just go with that. Do you think Ross Chastain will win the championship? Now, that is an interesting question. Right now, Chastain has 2 wins, and Byron has 2 wins. I think that Chastain is definitely on a hot streak, as again, he not only got his first win, but also Trackhouse's first win as well. So I really think that it's likely that Chastain could be in a contention for the title, but I feel like he could probably go too big too early, and it could end up being his undoing. Goodyear or Firestone? I feel like I might go with Firestone because, again, we all know that Goodyear has its issues, to say the least, to put it bluntly. But then again, I really don't know if I want to say much more than that. It's funny, while you consider 98 to be favorite racing number, there really aren't all that many amongst recent drivers that actually drive the 98. Well, yeah, Christian Eckes does, but again, really hoping that next year Riley Herbst gets the boot and someone else drives the 98 for SHR. However, I'm starting to think that if Hailie Deegan ends up going to the 98, I feel like that's probably still going to be a little bit premature to put her in that car. Oh, and hello there, no tires, just gas. What are your thoughts on that swoop on RFK's next-gen paint schemes? I don't really know if I don't think I have much of an opinion on it, but then again, it's kind of like the same thing with the design on the old cars from Richard Petty Motorsports. It doesn't look terrible, but at the same time, like it couldn't look, but it's like it's not amazing, but it could look worse. I met Noah Gregson and Kaz Gralla today, huh? Well, favorite NASCAR movie. Honestly, there really isn't any of them that are good, quote unquote. Plus, I also still have yet to see the movie Stroker Ace as well. I also will admit, but if I have to choose, I feel like the best one that I can think of so far might be maybe technically Days of Thunder, but even then, that movie is still not perfect. And again, I've said this before, and I will say it again. Talladega Nights is funny, but not for the right reasons. It's funny for all the wrong reasons because it's not funny. It's borderline offensive and insulting to NASCAR fans. Is there a rumor that Jones might leave Petty GMS at the end of the year? I really don't know. I have not heard of that. Zane Smith would probably be the best bet for the number 98. Either him or maybe even Brandon Jones if John Hunter Nemechek takes his place in 19 at JGR. Toyota Camry or the Toyota Supra in NASCAR or the AE86. Huh. Imagine if the AE86 was approved for NASCAR competition. Honestly, I would, but I don't really think I have the time to imagine that. Oh, and also Mega Man Fire Blue All-Star Blast. What is your favorite next generation throwback paint scheme? I feel like technically I would go with Chris Buescher's Matt Kenseth scheme, even though again it's not really amazing, but I think so far I feel like I would have to go with Harrison Burton's throwback to Jeff Burton's car from the year 2000. That one's definitely the best so far. Thoughts on the Crew? I haven't seen the Crew, so I don't really have an opinion on it. Favorite Xfinity driver? I would have to go with Ryan Sieg. Some random guy wearing a Jones 43 hat I saw at work today. Yeah, that's totally the most trustworthy source. Like, again, source. Trust me. As much as I like the movie Cars, I don't really consider it a NASCAR movie because it was more about cleaning up an interstate and not much racing. Yeah, again, it's basically like the same story as the movie Doc Hollywood. Michael J. Fox movie from 1993. It's pretty much a lot of it in the same vein as that movie. Does Ben Rhodes look like Sid from Toy Story? Well, yeah, I know. I made that joke in my 2021 championship race weekend memes video last year. What is the most cursed paint scheme in existence? Oh man, I don't even know if I want to go down that rabbit hole. And I don't even know if I could pick one from that list. What's your favorite NASCAR diecast? Oh man, I have so many of them. And I feel like at least half of the diecasts I own are customs. So I don't even know if I could pick one on that. So I don't even know if I can say. Have you ever seen the Netflix documentary Race, Bubba Wallace? No, I haven't. Mainly because I don't have a Netflix subscription, nor do I have any interest in getting one. Was there any videos that were ever scrapped? Oh yeah, I'm sure there have been plenty of them, but I don't want to really go into that right now. Am I lazy for just buying a custom Kurt Busch monster car from eBay? No, I'd say you're probably just being honest with yourself because you know that Lionel isn't going to provide that diecast. Because of I really hate these licensing complications that are keeping these good diecasts from being made. This might be a bit of a nerdy question, but do you tend to have a design process when putting customs together? Well, no, not really. I just kind of feel like I just go with whatever I feel like I can put together. Whatever's kind of off the top of my head. And if I have any spare diecasts available in order to do said customs. I don't know if it's me, but you sound like a mixed version of what incarnation and yeah, let's be real. Both of those YouTubers don't exactly like me, and they don't exactly view me in a positive light, but I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to go starting shit with them again. Favorite Truck Series and Arca driver? Again, I already said it. Truck Series favorite, Zane Smith. But Arca favorite, I really don't know. I would say Michael Klein, but he hasn't made his debut yet. What's your pick for tomorrow's race? Well, considering that Chris Buescher qualified on the pole, I'm actually interested to say that I think Buescher could have a chance to win, but I feel like I'd still have to go with saying maybe Chase Elliott to win. And Daniel Suarez was actually my alternate winner, but then again, that's just me. Is there any other interest that you have that we never saw or heard of before? Oh, geez, again, if I go into that, I think you know where that's going to lead. And you know what people are going to say, so I'm not going to go into that right now. What do you think is a bust who do you think is a bust in NASCAR that gets overlooked? For me, it's Casey Mears. I feel like it's probably Casey Mears for me as well, which is unfortunate because I think the guy would have had a productive career if things could go his way, but they never really did. Favorite NASCAR paint scheme? Again, I feel like as far as like an all-time favorite, I would still have to go with Matt Kenseth's DeWalt scheme from 2000. That's generally regarded as one of my favorites. Is Reid Sorensen considered a bust? Well, maybe not exactly. I mean, he did have a very productive career in the mid to late 2000s, all the way into the early 2010s. But honestly, aside of that, considering that he didn't really achieve much in the Cup Series, I think it would be technically, you would think that he's a bust, but I don't really consider him a bust. K&N Pro or Arca Regional? I feel like maybe I would still stick with the old K&N Pro Series title. And oh, Spencer, Just noticed that you just showed up in here. I feel like you're responding to the question Buzz TKO made. Did you know they made Rick Ware diecast? Yeah, they made 2 of them. They made one of J.J. Yaley's number 15 car from Talladega and Garrett Smithley's number 53 Rich Mar Florist car. Now, if only they would make a diecast of Cody Ware's Nurtec ODT car. That would certainly be a very big move for them. NASCAR at the Nürburgring Ring. I don't know. I mean, that's up to them if they're willing to try that. If they're willing to bring those cars out there to that track to test it, see how it would work, then hey, I think it's really up to them. Thoughts on YTPs? Again, YTPs, they're the original art. They're the original art form of YouTube that cannot be defined in any sort of way. And they're still finding a way to remain relevant in today's version of YouTube. On today's version of YouTube, YTPs are still relevant, even though you think they'd be dead by now, but they're not. Is it too early to consider Cole Custer a bust? Yeah, I think it is. How did I get into anime? Well, again, it was something that I just decided to give it a chance a long time ago because I thought that, you know what, I feel like I wanted to branch out outside of the normal animation realm that exists that most people are familiar with. But again, all it takes is to give the idea a chance, and you might find that maybe the idea is not as bad as you think it is. I really think it's really just as simple as that. Am I planning on making another YTP? I don't really know. I feel like if the motivation hits me, then maybe I will. But I really don't know yet. Did they make that 28 car from Dega? Yes, they did. It made it into one of the Authentics waves for last year. Even though, again, I feel like it would have been better if they made the boxed version, but again, that got DNP'd. Favorite animal? I would have to go with a cat. Have you ever seen an object show before? No, I have not. What's an anime that's really popular that you'll never watch? Oh, geez, do you even want me to go off the list? Again, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, those are 2 of them. But another one is Neon Genesis Evangelion. Again, that's another series that's really popular, but I've actually decided that I'm not really going to get into that. Again, you can talk all the shit you want at me, but that's my choice. And again, coming from a person who's an MHA fan, I guess that makes me a bit of a hypocrite because, again, a lot of MHA fans are definitely into a lot of the big name titles. But at the end of the day, this is also coming from a person who's also growing in a fiction. Wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. Who's growing a massive following for Comey Can't Communicate. I will admit that's become one of my new favorites now. If you had a favorite NFL team, who would you root for regionally? Not an NFL fan. Never have been, never will be. So I really don't think I can answer that. Bleach is top tier. Again, I haven't really seen Bleach, but I don't know if I'm really going to be able to. Don't know if I'm going to find the time for that. It gave Initial D a try, and the first season was good, but the animation aged like milk. Well, again, that's part of the reason why it was a product of the time. What do you expect? Favorite anime is Death Note. Huh. Again, I've heard of Death Note and familiar with some of the references from that, but I haven't really seen it in any capacity. When did you get into NASCAR and anime combined? Well, I've always been making little bits and always been referencing it in little bits and pieces throughout my videos when I first started doing them because I felt like it's something that I'm going to slowly start working my way up into combining it. And then in 2020, I just decided to go all in on it and start combining it en masse because you really can't ease your way into doing this stuff. You got to go all in on that kind of stuff because it's all or nothing. Give Demon Slayer a try. I don't know, man. I really don't know about that. What inspired you to make Meena Ashito my avatar, and how would you describe her overall personally? I just decided to go with her as my main avatar because I felt like she was the character that stood out to me. And I think that she definitely has a very vibrant personality that's not like any of the other characters where she really stands out in her own way. It's just a shame. The real shame is that she doesn't really have a lot of screen time to go off of, so you really can't get a better sense of her overall personality. Today I ordered some die casts, including that Allmendinger, the AJ Allmendinger car from Indianapolis last year. Can you see Petty GMS getting a win in the future? Oh yeah, I think I could. Eric Jones almost won at Talladega. And it's rather fascinating that he didn't change left side tires all throughout the last portion of the race at Talladega. How those tires didn't blow out on him, I don't know, but it feel like if Jones tried to stay down in his line and not try to move up or anything, I thought he would have had a shot to win, and maybe Chastain wouldn't have won. What inspired you to make my... Well, I think largely because I think you requested the idea because you were starting to change your position on it to make Midoriya your favorite character. Also, I always revisited that one scene from Second Stage with Mercedes guy that didn't hit for me, but that 86 blown engine did. Do you think that Jeffrey Earnhardt makes more starts for RCR in the 3 in Xfinity? Yeah, I think he could. Even though I feel like it would have been more, I think it would have added some credence to that if he won that race. But considering that he finished second and he managed to he qualified on the pole and finished second in that race, I think it's very likely that Richard Childress could look at that and decide to give him a few more starts. Maybe say if they bring him back for Charlotte, maybe something like that. But I really think it would only be best to do so if they bring Larry Mack back to be his crew chief. And I think Larry would probably be open to that if he got another opportunity. Have you ever thought about getting... No, I have never really thought about getting into F1. And even if I tried, I would just be treated like you know what. Because these people are so... F1 fans, man, I really don't know if I can trust them. I just don't think I can. Because, again, that's like F1 fans are on another level of elitist toxicity. And it's really just hard to actually tell what it is that they're trying to accomplish by acting that way. Do you think that Gregson can get better in Cup? Yeah, I think he could. If things can go, if people can stop being so full of you know what and hating him for absolutely trivial reasons, but again, that's just me. Favorite SpongeBob episodes? I feel like if I were to name something off the top of my head right now, I'd go with the episode No Free Rides. That's just something I named off the top of my head. Do you plan to do anything special for your birthday coming up soon? Yeah, my birthday is coming up on Thursday, but I don't think I have anything planned. I just don't really know what to do about that. Yeah, too many cliques in F1. That really makes it hard to get into that sport because again, the gatekeeping. It is so hard to get into the sport when there are so many people trying to boss you around saying you can't say this or you can't say that or you gotta say it like this or you gotta judge things like that. It's like that's way too much to handle. And I'm not going to be a part of that. But what do you think of Amphibia? Well, again, I've already finished the first season, and I will admit it's definitely good so far, but I feel like I gotta start off on season two at some point. Thoughts on the production cars in NASCAR 2005? I really don't know what to say about that. Are you a video gamer? No, not currently. Favorite NASCAR video game? The last video game I played of NASCAR was NASCAR '08 for the Xbox 360 when I actually had that console. Again, my brother actually still has that console, I imagine. Wait, so your birthday is on May 4th? Oh, that's interesting. Hmm. One crazy idea you have in terms of scheduling for any series. I feel like the craziest idea I would have so far is to just have a Cup Series race at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Or, let's see, another idea? Huh. Yeah, I don't really know if I can follow up on that. Do you think about North Wilkesboro? Well, yes, I am still thinking about it, and I am still thinking about the possibility of its return sometime in the near future. I mean, I do know that, again, it is going to be hosting racing again in August and then again in October when they remove the original surface to have the original dirt surface on it, to have racing dirt racing there in October, and then they plan to resurface the track starting in 2023. Chamberlain Motorsports is 110% supportive of my idea. And in league races, we actually do run a lot of schemes with contingency sponsors such as Funimation and Crunchyroll. Do you think Trevor Bain will win an Xfinity race this year? Yes, I think he will. It just depends on when or where. Just depends on where and how he will do it. Burning Up for You is the most underrated Eurobeat. Don't at me. Huh. Where has Bain been? Well, so far, his next scheduled start is at Charlotte. That's his next scheduled Xfinity start. Because for the next two Xfinity races at Darlington and Texas, Ryan Truex is going to be in the 18 car for the Xfinity Series. I was asking thoughts on the 2020 rookies in year 3. I mean, besides off. The rookie drivers from 2020. Well, again, Cole Custer was the rookie of the year that year. So, man, again, there were like 6 drivers that were rookies that year. John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer. Oh, geez, who else? Brennan Poole. Oh man, I again like Cole Custer was the rookie of the year. His win at Kentucky was definitely an upset. Like I really don't know if I can say much more about that. So far, I really think Bain is probably just a driver who I felt like was in a bit of a lucky scenario with the Wood brothers. I mean, yeah, he only won one race in the Cup Series, and it was the 2011 Daytona 500. And while then that win was still significant because it managed to keep the Wood brothers running as a race team, as they were kind of on the verge of shutting down by the time 2011 turn came around. And Bain managed to keep them going with that win. And it's still hard to believe that the Wood brothers are still one win away from 100. What is it going to take for them to get their 100th win? Oh, yeah, Tyler Reddick, Nemechek, Poole, Christopher Bell, Hoff, and Custer. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I feel bad for Brennan Poole. Well, at times I do kind of wonder what it would have been like if he had a better path in his career. But again, like, you can't really change much. Also, again, I feel like I'm actually close to finishing up NASCAR stop motion shorts number 18. And I plan to have the video premiere on Thursday evening around, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That would definitely be a good time for it to premiere. At least I think it's a good time for it to premiere. And just have to make a few more sketches, and I think then I'll probably be good to wrap it up and then have it ready to be posted. I don't want to post anything. I don't want to reveal any spoilers for it because, again, like, I want to keep it all contained until the finished product is revealed. Will Casey Kane ever come back for a one-off race? Huh. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting concept, and I would certainly be interested if he did. Best NASCAR karma moment? Oh boy, I don't even know if I could think of one of those right now. Thoughts on the SRX series? Well, so far it definitely seems to be off to a good start, but it really depends on if they can get a few more tracks on their schedule and a few more additional spots for their drive, a few more additional spots to their driver lineup. But again, let's just have to wait and see what happens from there. Any musical interests? I really don't know if I could say that because, again, music is not really the topic that I'm really devoted to. Do you think Canadian Tire Motorsport Park returns to the truck schedule next year? I think it's possible that it could return. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Do you think Elliott Sadler would have had more Cup wins if he not battled so many injuries? I think he could have. I really think he could. But again, that's another one of those what if scenarios that you really can't do much more of. And there's a reason why I don't really dive into that stuff because, again, I really can't think too much about it to be able to put in the effort to analyze that. What is a NASCAR team that's not around anymore that you wish was still around? For me, it's Ray Evernham. Well, for me, I feel like I'd wish that a team like Robert Yates Racing was still around, but again, that's another one of those things. Teams will come and teams will go. It's a sad reality that you have to deal with. Do you think Noah Gregson has done a 180 in performance from 2019 to 2020 to now? I feel like it's a little early to say that, but I think that Gregson might be having a turnaround. But again, I feel like it's still a little early to say for sure. Best flag waiver at a NASCAR event. Oh man, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I don't really know. Do you think NASCAR will ever have a female winner? Yeah, I certainly hope they do. Again, you can't, at some point, some female driver is going to rise up and they're going to get the job done at some point. If you had Gibbs and Nemechek in a fight, who would win? Man, I feel like I would probably want to side with Nemechek, but I feel like Gibbs might try to get the upper hand on him. I mean, considering that again, it's kind of unfortunate that Nemechek had behind the wall in the Dover race today, because if he didn't, I think he would have been a contender for a solid finish in the race today. Whichever one takes their helmet off first. Ha! Ha! What happened to John Hunter? He DNF'd besides hitting the wall. Well, apparently not only did his tire go down, but his brake rotors came apart on one of his tires as well. So that's what sent him behind the wall, unfortunately. Ugh. Wait a minute. What made you an RFK? Well, I began Roush Fenway Racing was the team that I first identified with when I first became a fan, and I'm still trying to stay committed to them, even despite this being their lowest point. Favorite food? Again, I eat all kinds of stuff, so again, I really don't know if I can say what is my favorite. I think that's hard to say. If life gave you lemons, what would you do with them? Oh yeah, Drill Steve Jr. If life gave you lemons, again, again, what do you do when life gives you I think it's reference that I'm thinking of. Like, what does a winner do when life gives them lemons? And then the response is like, make lemonade. But then no, they squeeze them back into life's eyes. I think that's actually a reference from the Amazing World of Gumball, but I've never really seen that in full, so I wouldn't understand it any more than that. Favorite Xfinity throwback? I would have to go with shit. Oh boy. Favorite Xfinity throwback? I feel like I might go with Ty Gibbs' Interstate Batteries car. It's one of the most recent ones announced. What car would be used for the NASCAR meme series like cars that can't race like the Peel Pine 50? Yeah, I really don't know if I could say anything more of that. Like, I'm a bit lost on that. I got into NASCAR back in 2011. So you are also introduced to it from a very young age as well. I see. feel like maybe this was a bit of a bad time to do this stream. I feel like I'm a bit short on things to talk about, but what am I gonna do here? Channel surfing and because I like cars, huh? Got interested into NASCAR at Hendrick's lowest point. Yeah, to be fair, yeah, that was definitely a low point for Hendrick Motorsports, no doubt. Was introduced to NASCAR around 2003 or so, but didn't really get that far into it until 2006. Been following along with it nonstop since 2018 and discovered my channel shortly afterwards. My first race was 2019 at Pocono. The high point in 2018 for HMS was Chase Elliott's first win that he should have got at Martinsville. But hey, he got his first win eventually. Yeah, he did. Feel like it's probably fitting that he got his first win at the Glen because Bill Elliott also got his first win at a road course too. Thoughts on Regan Smith's NASCAR career? Regan Smith was very up and down. He was certainly very productive in the Xfinity Series, but the Cup Series didn't bear much for him outside of the fact that he got screwed over at Talladega in 2008, but then got the win in the 2011 Southern 500, which somehow was a massive miracle for Furniture Row Racing about 4 years before they really started to take off with Martin Truex Jr. I stopped following it in 2016, but picked right up with it in 2017. And of course, Truex won the title that year. Yeah, right. How different would NASCAR be if Furniture Row Racing was still around? Uh, I don't know if it would be that much different, but at least we'd still have that championship winning team from 5 years ago. I don't know if, again, I really don't know if things would be that much different, but again, like, what can you do? When did me and Sonic Rules 831 become friends? I know it was in 2020. Well, yes, it was in 2020. And we just kind of started interacting with each other, and we started to realize that there were a lot of similarities between each other in terms of how we made our content. And I thought that, you know what? I decided to reach out to him, and I thought, you know what? Why don't we try doing something where we collaborate together on each other's predictions videos? And that's kind of how things started to grow from there. And then I started doing all the artwork for him as well. And that's pretty much how things started from there. That's where it started, and it's pretty much gone well for us since. And I will also say that this live stream that I'm doing right now was actually partially inspired by the one that Sonic Rules did last August, just kind of spontaneously, but yeah. Actually, right now I'm actually working on another custom die cast. As you can see, of course, it's a Cup Mustang with the number 60. See if I can get it to focus better. But yeah, this is, and I feel like I'll reveal the proper scheme once it's finished, which I feel like I probably should try wrapping it up after the stream. But yeah, that's what I was working on because it's actually part of something for a sketch that I actually plan to redo. Any plans of collaborating with other YouTubers? Well, yeah, I definitely plan to do more stuff. Like, I actually plan to do something for Dave later this year, at around the end of the year, just as a little reminder. I can't say what that is yet, but I think you'll be interested to know what it is. And there are definitely a lot of other content creators that I've gotten in touch with, that I've been talking with. And I feel like I want to give them a shot to do something with me as well. Other content creators, like, I feel like maybe if I were to reference it, maybe someone like Bowser Jr. XD, or another content creator who I've been talking with known as Carbit GT Saxon, otherwise known as Vaxon. That would be another one to do something together with. But right now, I feel like I kind of have to keep the idea, kind of have to keep that stuff limited because again, you don't want to go too far into doing too many of those. It could actually kind of work against you. Hey, you do want to collab in the future? I'm sure you do, and I'm sure that I'll have to think of something to do with you on that, Spencer. Does anyone recall watching the 2021 Dover race and at a person holding a sign about Hendrick Motorsports? Yeah, I do believe I remembered seeing something about that. And again, the fact that all four Hendrick cars finished 1 through 4 was really bizarre to see. But again, it was definitely a defining moment about their season as a whole. Is there any video games that you like but a lot of other people don't like? I don't really think I can answer that. Can't wait to go to Texas or Coda and hold up a JGR sign. Do you know John? Do I? Yes, I'm familiar with John Cena and Roman Reigns, but mostly from a very basic perspective. I really don't know a whole lot about them. I do know who they are, though, but not much else. What if you go to New Hampshire and hold up a Penske sign? Huh. That would definitely be interesting. It just depends on if you'd be able to go there. Yeah, I really don't think Truex is going to be done just yet. I think he still has another year or two left in him. Since my world is well, yeah, again, I know the pressure is mounting that Ty Gibbs to go to Cup, but I really think the problem is that you don't want to rush him, regardless of how good he performs right now. I think New Hampshire is a boring track in terms of recent races. Well, yeah, to be fair, it's not entirely wrong, but, it could be a lot worse. Was actually going to go to New Hampshire in 2019, but the hotels were all booked, and then COVID happened the next year. Who is a driver who has only won one race that has managed to stick out in the series? Well, again, I feel like one example would have to be Paul Menard or possibly Regan Smith. Ugh. Haley Deegan is going to be a NASCAR bust. Well, I hope she doesn't. Best of luck to both drivers in the front row, Denny and Buescher. NASCAR made Stewart the winner at Talladega because of the yellow line BS, but I agree with Spencer that Reagan had that race won, and that was DEI's last win in NASCAR. Justin Haley will have a career similar to Jamie McMurray's. Huh. It's an interesting comparison. To pray. The NASCAR Cup Series should race in other countries, or just stick to the States. I think they should try racing in other countries. Yeah, again, I just played a clip from an SMG4 video. Yeah, it was. Wait, let me see here. If YouTube didn't exist, what would you be doing? Well, I'd probably be trying to do something productive. Not sure what it would be, though. Oh, again, that's one of those things. Like, again, and this is still largely relatively considered my own hobby. So again, like, I don't really know what to tell you. Honestly, I still am hoping that Tyler Reddick can win something and I know that he's close. It's just a matter of getting the job done. Did you learn any German? Well, again, I was terrible at the language, so I don't really know what to tell you. No, like, he takes forever, but when he does. Saw a tweet from Brock Beard noting that Lawless Allen and Jack Wood are running a Trans Am race at Sonoma. Huh. I feel like that's probably to prepare themselves for the truck race there because the trucks are going to be racing at Sonoma for the first time since 1998. Code Geass is the goat of anime. Again, I don't know if I can say that I agree. Again, that's just me. Again, coming from an MHA fan, that sure is saying a lot that I'd say to disagree on that. But again, like, what do I know? I know I mentioned this at least twice, but with the way NASCAR does Cup qualifying in two separate groups, they should really split the teams more between those two groups. Huh. No, I have not seen Code Geass. Again, I can't really form an opinion on that. I really don't know. I mean, Jack Wood is a driver with driver's edge development. So I don't essentially say that he's a paid driver, but I think he is kind of rushed. Do you think Bowman and possibly other non-Hendrick Chevy drivers make a start in JRM's number 88? I think it could be likely, but I'm not sure. And now back to God. Now I feel like I want to go back and find that. What? Favorite male character in MHA? Ugh, I feel like I would have to go with Tenya Ida. I think that's my personal predilection. If you do watch Code Geass, I highly recommend it. Huh. Who is the Takumi Fujiwara of NASCAR in your opinion? I really don't know. I just don't know who I can. I don't know who I can say that. Do you think if Spencer Gallagher didn't get busted, would he have run in Cup or stayed in Xfinity longer? Well, I think if anything, he might have stayed in Xfinity because, again, I don't really know if they would have contemplated going. I don't know. I mean, granted, now GMS is in Cup, but other than that, I don't know if he would have done much. Is Tim George Jr. a definite bust for sure? Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know who that is. Yeah. Well, he was sponsored by Applebee's and ran races with KHI. Huh. Well, again, I never even really heard of the guy, so I didn't really know whether to say whether he was a bust or not. Ugh. Also, I guess maybe if there was some other idea that I wanted to throw out there is that what if Darrell Waltrip managed to win a race with DEI when he drove for them in that short stint in 1998, driving the one car for DEI? Because again, if I remember correctly, Waltrip was leading a race at Pocono, but then ended up finishing back towards the top 10. I think was it sixth or something. But yeah, that was definitely a very prominent race for him because it showed he was still capable of running well. Cody Coughlin. Yeah, he made starts for GMS in the 2 truck, but then he just kind of stepped back and hasn't been seen since. Oh, Seabass is now in here. That was definitely the highlight of Waltrip's last leg of his driving career. You're considering the BS he had to contend with while at ISM that same year. Yeah, that was definitely a lot to take. That was definitely a lot to handle. Missed my emotionally dead voice. Bruh, indeed. You sound yeah. I'm fine. Just dealing with some other stuff. I feel like my throat is kind of dried out a little bit from the talking, but again, like that could be a little bit worse. That could be worse. We'd like to take a moment to announce that all food keeps blowing up. Hmm. I don't really have much of an opinion on Cody Coughlin because he never really did much that stood out. Yeah, wait. Say Kevin Conway, considering that his sponsor provoked the downfall of two teams and almost killed another. Ugh. Just going to leave this here. You were one of my inspirations to start out doing YouTube in the first place back in 2018. Huh. That's interesting. I'm surprised that I'm actually the inspiration for quite a few people in this chat. And again, I feel like I don't want to take too much credit for that, but I definitely should. I definitely am very happy that you decided to do that. Because now Vank Cutterman is at over 8,000 subs. So he's definitely made something productive out of his time on YouTube. Well, you do have a lot of great artwork and content, and you're a great friend on top of that. I appreciate you for being like a big brother to me, and I thank you for taking a chance on me. Ah. Yeah. Oh, so yeah. Well, Dave's got to go now. So, oh well. It was nice having you in here, though. Yeah. Nice time. Nice to have you here as well. Uh, well, you know what? I actually think I'm probably going to call this stream off as well. I feel like I've probably been a little bit short of ideas on stuff to talk about, but at least it was worth it to do this, just because. What do you think of my recreations of you and all the other OCs in WWE 2K? I think you did a really good job with all of those, Buzz TKO. I think for given what you were able to do with them, I think you did a really good job on that. That's so again, I got to give you props for that. And if any of you want to know what it is that they want to know what those are, go over to his channel and check that out. But yeah, it was definitely a good time to do this. But yeah, it's almost 2 hours now that I've been doing this stream. And despite that, I really didn't have that much to talk about. So I guess I'll just call it off here. Thank you all for watching. And I hope to do this again soon because the next live stream is going to be a live reaction stream for the Truck Series race at Darlington. So keep your eyes out for that because that's when I'm going to be going live next. And so, yeah. Nice to have you all here. This is MF17 signing off.